So good afternoon, guys. We'll finish off the last topic left over, which we have been waiting to discuss all these days. That is accounting for debentures, where there are multiple amendments in the recent past. Recent past. I'll discuss about them. And then we will solve few problems. What is supposed to be done? Okay. Now. Yeah. I hope I'm audible and also you are able to see the screen. I'll give you a backdrop as to what all has changed from your old syllabus and new syllabus first. Then we will get into discussion. Okay. Earlier under old syllabus, before amendment, in debentures, you had accounting with respect to issue of debentures. Then you have redemption of debentures. Then you have accounting for own debentures. Then a special category called sinking fund. Sinking fund method of debenture accounting was there. Okay. Broadly, this was what's there in old debenture accounting, what you had. Okay. Now what you have, I'll tell you. With respect to these first three categories, that is, with respect to issue, redemption, and accounting of own debentures, fairly speaking, it continues to exist. Though he did not give you this as an independent topic here in the amendment, these continue to exist. Only thing which is dropped down from the institute material, what can be observed is sinking fund is no more in existence in the amended syllabus, what is given for IPCC advanced accounts. Okay. Now, having said this, additionally what is given is there are some details with respect to debenture redemption reserve norms which are given, which is basically a change in Companies Act. Okay. Your DRR rules with respect to Companies Act, it is changed. Okay. And then there is something called debenture redemption reserve investment account creation. These are the two new things which you are going to learn in addition to what you have, that is issue, redemption, and accounting for own debentures. Okay. Broadly, this is the major thing which you are going to learn. Now, having said about the differences in short, let us get into what's there in this particular topic. Now, debentures are financial instruments, that is loans taken by companies, by specifying a specific percentage of interest against that instrument, and the entire loan would be split into multiple parts, such that various participants can purchase the debentures, that is in the form of instrument. Just like purchasing a share, instead of share, a debenture may be purchased. So that is the objective of issuing debentures, and then raise monies for the entity. Now, whenever we raise monies like this, when I stated that it's a loan, it has to be repaid. How does repayment happen? That is, how do we repay the monies which we have raised from various investors? Your act says there are multiple ways in which they may be returned back to the investors. Number one, payment payment at the end of a specific period. At the end of specific period. What does specific period means? Depends on the type of debenture what you raise. For example, a debenture may be raised for 5 years. A debenture may be raised for 10 years. A debenture may be raised for 15 years, 20 years, 30 years. However, there are some restrictions which are there on who can raise how much, for how many years. Okay. So those parts we will discuss later. For now, let us think about only the concept. Okay. Who rules with respect to raising for number of years and all we will discuss later. How much can be raised and how do we repay is what we are only talking about. The types of redemptions possible, repayments. What is redemptions possible? So number one, payment and at the end of a specific period as a lump sum. As a lump sum may be done. Okay. Number two, second possibility is I may pay in installments. That means I raised 10 lakh rupees of debentures and I have stated that at the end of fifth year, I would pay 5 lakhs and at the end of 10th year, I would pay another 5 lakhs. In such case, I am paying it in installments. What does that mean? All these years I keep paying you interest. By the end of fifth year, I'll stop paying interest on 5 lakhs and repay you the 5 lakhs. On the balance 5 lakhs, for the next 5 years, I'll keep paying you interest and at end of 10th year, I'll repay you the interest along with principal. Then you call it as repayment in installments, or redemption in installments. Third possibility is I may redeem them by purchasing them in the open market. That is, purchase in the open market. This is what I call as investing in my own debentures. That means my own debentures I am purchasing from the open market. What does that mean? I am purchasing from the open market, secondary market. What does secondary market mean? From the stock market. If at all your instrument is listed on the stock market, I am free to purchase in the open market from other investors who have purchased these debentures. I can purchase from them and hold with me. The moment I purchase from them in the open market, what does that mean? I have redeemed them. It is nothing like I have a liability in my balance sheet and I also have an asset in my balance sheet. What does that mean? The liability to the extent of asset what I have, it is nullified. Yes or no? It means it is redeemed. So this is the third possibility. And the last possibility in which it could be redeemed is by conversion. What does conversion mean? Conversion means I would convert my debentures into equity shares of my company. Okay. Now, these are the 4 ways in which you may have your redemption plans, repayment plans. It does not mean that any debenture has to be redeemed only by either one of these methods. No, it can be combination of either of these 4. What does that mean? Say I may have out of 100%, I may have out of 100%, 25% may be redeemed as lump sum, 25% may be redeemed as installments, 25% I may buy back in the open market, 25% I may convert it into equity. No wrong. That means whatever number of debentures you are holding, you need to redeem them in either of these formats. Okay. Now, having said this, let us now get into the periodicity for which a debenture may be issued. Now, normally, a debenture can be issued for 10 years. 10 years. Okay. However, there are specific types of entities. Who can issue the debentures up to 30 years. Okay. 30 years. What sort of entities can do that? say you are given some list of entities in the institute material also, like entities which are part of RBI, that is financial institutions from the RBI or infrastructure companies. There are a few list of companies which are given. Such companies may issue up to 30 years. Otherwise, a normal entity is supposed to issue up to 10 years. That's all. Issue up to 10 years only. This is the most important aspect with respect to periodicity for which you may issue debentures. Now, when it comes to accounting for debentures, Act has come up with some rules. Act has come up with some rules which states that there is something called a debenture redemption reserve which is supposed to be created. A debenture redemption reserve which is supposed to be created, and out of the monies which are set aside in debenture redemption reserve, investment should be made. Debenture redemption reserve investment should be made out of this debenture redemption reserve. Okay, so there are two parts in it. Number one, creating of debenture redemption reserve. Second part, investing the money which you have set aside. Now, how do I set aside or how do I create debenture redemption reserve? Now, debenture redemption reserve is to be created out of profits available for distribution of dividend. Mark my words carefully. Profits available for distribution of dividend. Recollect your group 1 IPCC accounts. When you are doing your company accounts, final accounts, dividend can be given not just from P&L. You may issue dividend, you may pay out dividend even from free reserves also. Okay, that means there is no requirement that DRR should be set aside only from P&L account. No, it can be set aside. From any profits available for distribution of dividend. That means before paying any dividend, you are supposed to set aside some amount towards your DRR. Now, what amount has to be set aside? How do I set aside and all that theoretical aspects? Let us come to it later. Okay, that is what percentage has to be set aside and all. We will discuss later. First, we will understand the concept first. Okay, so what is supposed to be done is DRR has to be created. What Act says is DRR has to be created out of profits available for distribution of dividend. That's all. Beyond that, not even a single word is told extra. Okay. When I say profit is available for distribution of dividend, profit available for distribution of dividend, it means it's not just P&L account balance. It could be even general reserve also. It could be even general reserve or any other free reserve. Free reserve which can be used towards issuance of dividend. Okay, this is the important aspect. Second, now DRR is to be created is what we have stated. Who all should create this DRR? How much has to be created? Is something we need to observe. Now, your companies with respect to debenture redemption reserve, Act has suggested, the rules of Companies Act have suggested to broadly categorize companies into two categories. One is called as listed companies, second is unlisted companies. Okay, in listed companies, okay, One sec. Yeah, we will discuss, guys. Now, with respect to DRR, let's categorize them into multiple parts, and then we will discuss. Okay. For creation of DRR, companies have to be identified like this. Number one, for debentures issued by all India financial institutions, that is something which is recognized under all India financial institutions, which is regulated by RBI, regulated by RBI, or even a banking company. Okay, even a banking company. There would be other financial institutions. There would be other financial institutions. There would be other financial institutions, and this is first category. There will be first category, and number 3, for listed companies. For listed companies, in listed companies, you have multiple categories. In listed companies, there could be NBFCs, okay? NBFCs, or there can be housing finance corporations, HFCs. There could be HFCs and other listed companies. Other listed companies, okay? And lastly, there is fourth category for unlisted companies. Unlisted companies. Under unlisted companies, you again have these 3 categories. Again, you have these 3 categories here. Okay. Now, what rules tell is DRR has to be calculated. DRR has to be calculated. So what I'll do is I'll put this unlisted category here. Okay. Number 4 is unlisted companies can be categorized into NBFCs, HFCs, housing finance corporations, and other unlisted entities. Other unlisted entities. Okay. Now, I'll mark something in green if it does not have to maintain DRR. Okay. Now, what Act says is for a all India financial institution regulated by RBI or banking companies, no DRR is required. No DRR is required. Okay. And second, for other financial institutions, whatever is applicable for as applicable for NBFC. Whatever is applicable to NBFC, the same will be applicable for other financial institutions. Okay. For other financial institutions, it will be applicable as it is applicable for NBFCs. Okay. Now, for listed companies, whatever be the listed company, okay, any listed company, be it NBFC, Housing Finance Corporation, or other listed company, for any of these, no DRR is required. DRR is not required. DRR is not required. And coming to last part, for unlisted companies, if you see, if it is an NBFC, it is not required. If it is an unlisted HFC, even in case it is not required, even in such case it is not required. What is required is only for other unlisted companies. Only for other unlisted companies, I'll mark it in blue. Please see, for other unlisted companies, I will have to create 10% of value of outstanding debentures. 10% of value of outstanding debentures. Okay. 10% of value of outstanding debentures which are supposed to be redeemed. Okay. Now I will analyze this part first. I will analyze this part first. Don't worry, I'll tell you. Wait, that remembrance and all, I'll help you out with. Okay, I'll help you out with it. Now, let me first analyze. Sir, I have issued 20 lakh worth of debentures. 20 lakh worth of debentures. Out of 20 lakh worth of debentures, 50% is convertible into equity. Only remaining 50% is redeemable. Okay. Only remaining amount is redeemable. Okay. Now, should I provide 10% on 20 lakhs or 10 lakhs? First question. Okay. First question. Yeah. What would be your answer? I'll repeat again. I have issued 20 lakh worth of debentures, of which 50% is convertible into equity and remaining 50% is redeemable in cash. For what amount should I create this DRR? Is it for entire out of 20 lakhs, should I take 10%, or out of 10 lakhs, which is redeemable in cash, for which I should take 10%? That is the first question. Wait. May be converted, may not be converted. I'm not giving you so many options. Okay. If it is something in the hands of the entity, if it is something in the hands of entity to convert, in such case, I know that I will be converting them into equity at a later stage. Yes or no? In such case, for the amount of convertible portion, I need not maintain DRR. If it is something which is convertible, compulsorily convertible, if it is compulsorily convertible, in such case, there is no requirement of DRR. Why? See, first of all, you need to understand the logic behind creating DRR. Your logic behind creating DRR is, today I have raised monies. Tomorrow at the end of 5 years or 10 years, when I have to really repay money to the investor, I should maintain that money. So since I have to maintain that money, my regulator, that is Companies Act, is enforcing on me, stating that, boss, you have a 10 years credit there. At the end of 10 years, you're supposed to pay money there. For that, start accumulating money from now itself. Have some balances with you. Be little planned. At the end of 10 years, ensure you have money for payment back. Okay, repayment. That means your DRR is applicable only on those debentures which are redeemable in cash, but not which are convertible into equity shares. First thing. Okay. Now come back to our example. I told you that 20 lakhs is the debentures which I have issued, of which 5 lakhs, 10 lakhs is getting converted into equity at the end of 5 years, and another 10 lakhs is going to be repaid by me at the end of 5 years. Which means out of these two, I will have to provide only on 10 lakhs, not for entire 20 lakhs. Okay. Not for entire 20 lakhs. It's only for 10 lakhs. When should I provide? I'll talk about it later. First, let us understand step by step. Okay. Now, 10% has to be created. Who should create? Check what you are. Which company am I? Am I a All India Financial Institution regulated by RBI? Yes. Automatically, you don't have to create any DRR. Okay. Am I a banking company? Yes. You need not create any DRR. Third, are you any other financial institution? Wait. Here he says, as applicable for NBFC. Here he says, as applicable for NBFC. Now, which NBFC? First of all, check yourself. Are you listed? Yes. In listed, if you observe, for NBFC, no DRR is required. That means, if you are a listed company, you compare with a listed NBFC. For a listed NBFC, DRR is not applicable. That means, for you also, DRR is not applicable. Okay. Same way. You are a financial institution, other financial institution. Now, you are a unlisted financial institution. That means you should check unlisted NBFC. See an unlisted NBFC. For an unlisted NBFC, there is no requirement to create any DRR. That means be it a listed NBFC or an unlisted NBFC, for both there is no requirement of creation of DRR. Okay, then why should you give so many classifications? There is requirement. There is requirement. I'll tell you. Okay. Now that means for a other financial institution, there is no requirement of creation of DRR. DRR creation alone is not required. Okay. Mark that words. Mark that words. Only DRR creation is not required. Now, next, for listed company, be it NBFC or Housing Finance Corporation or other listed company, for any of these, there is no requirement of creating DRR. Okay. And finally, unlisted companies. In unlisted companies, NBFCs need not create DRR. HFCs need not create DRR. Only entities which are supposed to create is other unlisted companies. Only other unlisted companies have to create DRR, that to 10%. 10% of the value of outstanding debentures. Okay. Now, having said this, when should I create DRR? When should I create DRR? Very important question. Now for this, I am going to share with you the theory which is given by institute in our material, institute study material. Okay. Okay. I'll share you the institute. I'm sharing you the institute study material. I'll show you some text of it. Let us analyze what the text is. Okay. Yeah. Please see. I'm highlighting here. He says, as per Rule 18.7 of Companies Share Capital and Debentures Amendment Rules 2019, the company shall comply with the requirements with regard to DRR and investment or deposit of sum in respect of debentures maturing during the year ending on 31st March of next year. Okay. Okay. Here, please take 31st March of next year. Okay. In accordance with the conditions given below. That means for whatever which are going to get redeemed, which are maturing by the end of 31st of March of next year, I will have to provide DRR this year. Okay, DRR this year in accordance with the conditions given below. The DRR shall be created out of profits of the company available for payment of dividend. This already we have discussed. The limits with respect to adequacy of DRR investments, as the case may be, shall be as under. Now, he has given you details of how this adequacy has to be calculated. This all we have discussed already. Okay, all this we have discussed. Now, when should I invest this? When should I invest this? Okay, investment of DRR, he says, the company's all the whatever details he has given shall on or before, sorry, shall on or before the 30th of April in each year, in respect of debentures issued, deposit or invest, as the case may be, a sum which shall not be less than 15% of amounts of deposits maturing, debentures maturing during the year ending on 31st March 2000 whatever, of next year in any one or more of the following methods. Let's talk about where it should be invested and all little later. Now there are two things which he has told you. First thing is you should set aside a amount for DRR. That is when you are supposed to set aside, you are supposed to set aside during the year. Okay. In the current year, you are supposed to set aside for debentures in respect of debentures maturing during the year ending on the 31st day of March next year. That means in the next year, if something is being redeemed, this year by 31st of March, I should have created DRR for 10%. That is what his meaning is. Okay. Now let us understand with an example. Okay. Now let us understand with an example. Now, I am right now in 1920. That is April 19, March 20, and this is March 21. Okay. I am right now in May of 19. Okay. Say I am in May 19. May 19 I am right now in. Okay. Say I have debentures which mature in June 20. Okay. That means in the next year it is going to be redeemed. By when should I provide this? By when should I create this DRR? Before March 20. That means here. Before this 31st of March 2020, I should have created and kept aside this DRR. First requirement. Okay. First requirement, I should have created and set aside DRR by 31st of March 2020. Okay. Next, when should I invest? For investment, he says you are supposed to invest before 30th of April. That means here it is 30th of April. By 30th of April 2020, I should have invested monies. By 30th of April. See, what is important here is it could be something which is maturing in the current year itself. Even then, by April 30, you should have created. For example, there are debentures which are maturing on April 20. Okay, 20th of April 2020, debentures are maturing. In which case, I am supposed to invest by 30th of April 2019 itself, because within next 1 year it is going to happen there. Okay, in the next 1 year it is going to happen. So prior to that, I am supposed to invest. Okay, when should I create? I may create by end of this year also, no problem. Okay. Now what is important for us here is only two things. Number one, when should I create DRR? DRR is supposed to be created by the 31st of April, 31st of March, the previous year of the year of redemption. Okay. And when should I create the investment allowance reserve? Investment allowance reserve should be created on or before 30th of April, within which the debentures are going to be redeemed. Okay. So these are the two important aspects which you are supposed to mandatorily adopt to. Now, few questions come. What will happen if I don't do? You have set of very lengthy, very tight legal positions in Companies Act. Okay. All those will get applied to you. That's all. Okay. So why unnecessarily take risk? Instead, adopt your accounting and go ahead smoothly. Okay. Now, having said this, now let us talk about who should create debenture redemption investment. Again, you have the same set of companies. Okay, you have the same set of companies. I'll go back here itself and write if debenture redemption investment account has to be created or not. Okay, I will be using black ink here. Okay, I'll be using black ink. Now, if it is AIFI regulated by RBI, that is All India Financial Institution regulated by RBI, or for a banking company, there is no requirement of debenture redemption investment account also. Investment is not required. Second, for other financial institutions, same as applicable to NBFC, that continues to apply here also. Here there is an importance here. Okay, there is an importance to this word. Next. Okay. Third, for listed companies, for an NBFC or Housing Finance Corporation or other listed companies, you are mandatorily supposed to provide 15%. That is, you should create 15% investment. You should create DRI, debenture redemption investment account, should be created for 15%. What does that mean? You don't provide DRR, I'm okay with it, but you should definitely provide DRI. Okay, which means he is being stringent on investing the monies aside rather than creating a provision from the P&L. Okay, so for any listed company, whether you are an NBFC or Housing Finance Corporation or any other listed company, mandatorily you have a requirement to create 15% of investment. Okay, then for other unlisted companies, if you see, for an NBFC, there is no requirement of investment account. There is no requirement of investment account. For a HFC also, there is no requirement of investment account. However, for other unlisted companies, it is 15% which is supposed to be created. 15% which is supposed to be created. What does that mean? If you are a listed company, mandatorily you have to provide 15% of investment, 15% of your debenture redemption, whatever is there. Out of that 15% value, you are supposed to invest and keep it aside. By which date? By 30th of April, prior to the date of redemption. Prior to the date of redemption, whatever be the earliest 30th of April, by then you should provide. Okay. Second, for unlisted companies, any other unlisted company, you are supposed to provide 15%. Clear? So these are few norms which you are supposed to satisfy to ensure the norms are satisfied. Okay, so with this intro, I will raise few questions here. I am a other financial institution. And I am not a listed company. Okay, will I have to create any DRR? No. Should I create DRI, debenture redemption investment account? No, because for unlisted NBFCs, there is no requirement of DRI to be created also. Okay. Second, I am a other financial institution, and I am a listed company. Other financial institution, but I am a listed company. So if you are a listed company, whatever are applicable for NBFC which is listed, the same is applicable to you also. Yes or no? So that means for a listed NBFC, this is applicable. Your DRI is applicable. Okay. In such case, even for other financial institution which is listed company, DRI is applicable. Okay. So this is what you are supposed to observe whenever you look through questions in debentures. Okay. So predominantly we are expecting questions of this kind only, where they would test you on what could be applicable, what is applicable and all. Okay. So with this intro, now let us go to I have stated that 15% has to be invested. 15% has to be invested. When should I invest that 15%? In what should I invest that 15%? Act gives you set of list of companies in which you can invest. So predominantly it is secured banks, that is your banks in which there are bonds of banks and all. Okay, all those you can invest. Other than that, there are few bonds from other companies also which can be used for investment. Okay, so broadly this is what has to be satisfied. Broadly this is what has to be satisfied to finish off your accounting. Okay, now having said about all this, your accounting for debentures is fairly simple. Your accounting for debentures is fairly simple. Number one, whenever you issue debentures, you are supposed to write accounting entries keeping in mind what could be the redemption value. Keeping in mind what could be the redemption value, your accounting entries today have to be recorded, because you are supposed to satisfy the conditions with respect to what is going to be paid in future. Okay. Second, there is accounting. Whenever you are accounting for debentures, there is something called broken period interest which you need to be careful about. Broken period interest which you need to concentrate on. Okay. Broken period interest has to be correctly accounted for each of receivable and payable. Each of receivable and payable. Only then your accounting would be going in proper shape. Okay. So these are two important aspects which we need to be cautious about. Okay. So other issues, as we do problems, each kind of problem, let us discuss there and take it forward. Okay. So with this intro, let us start with questions. Okay. Let us start with questions. Yeah. Yeah. Someone is asking for own debentures theory. All right. Let me first explain old debentures and then get in there. Otherwise. Now, what do we mean by own debentures? Investment in own debentures. It's a situation where when I have debentures in my balance sheet, and I am right now cash rich, that is, I have sufficient cash such that I can buy back my own debentures and avoid paying interest to other parties. In such case, what I do is, I buy back my own debentures. In such case, what happens is these debentures would be becoming part of these debentures which I purchase from open market would become my asset also. On taking over the debentures, I may either cancel them immediately or hold them with me and later on reissue when I actually need money. Okay. So in either of these cases, accounting entries would flow. So when I purchase my own debentures, entry would be what? Number one, on purchase, it's going to be investment in own debentures account debit to bank account, and there could be some amount of broken period interest. Okay. Any broken period interest accounting is required to be done immediately during purchase only. Okay. While purchasing itself, you are supposed to write that entry. So for example, there is 2 months of interest. In such case, broken period interest towards broken period interest also, you would be setting aside some money, and the total you would be paying. Okay. Later on, you would be receiving interest. When you receive interest, you are only the company who should pay you interest. Yes or no? in which case, I should write a due entry for myself. That is interest receivable account debit to interest account would be the due entry, against which I'll cancel the interest payable out of my liability, and net off only I would be making payment to outside parties. Net off only I'll be making payment to outside parties. Okay. So these are few entries with respect to debenture interest which happens when we have own debentures. And apart from that, I may cancel my own debentures. Whenever I cancel my own debentures, investment in own debentures, what is on debit will be credited now, and debentures what are on liabilities would be reversed. Okay. So entry on cancellation would be debenture liability account debit to investment in own debentures. So the difference between these two values will be going to P&L account. Okay. Whatever loss, whatever you incur, if at all, that will be going to P&L account, because this is a one-time loss which I'm willing to bear, rather than incur yearly interest cost. Okay. Hence what we do is we charge it off to P&L in the current period itself. Okay. So this is what we do in case we have a own debentures purchased and accounting in that aspect. Okay. So when we do problem, we'll get more clarity. With this, we will go ahead with solving the questions. Okay. Now, so debentures, let us start. Okay. First, let us pick up the last two questions which are from the institute material. Okay. Then we will pick up the other questions. Okay. So take out fourth question first. The following balances appeared in the books of Paradise Limited, unlisted company other than AIFI, banking company, NBFC, and HFC. That means what is it trying to company? Other unlisted company it is. Okay, that means both DRR is supposed to be provided and also investment is also applicable. Okay. On this, and as on 1/4/2001, 12% debentures 7,50,000, balance of DRR 25,000, DRR investment 1,12,500, represented by 10%, 1,125 secured bonds of Government of India of 100 each. Annual contribution to DRR was made on 31st March every year. On 31st March 2002, balance at bank was 7,50,000 before receipt of interest. The investments were realized at par for redemption of debentures at premium of 10% on the above date. You are required to prepare the following accounts for the year ended 31st March 2002. Debenture account, DRR investment account, bank account, debenture holders account. Okay. So these are the items which are given here. So let us prepare the accounts as asked for. Okay. Now open all the accounts which he has asked for. He has asked for 5 accounts. Let us open all the 5 accounts here. Okay. You have 12% debentures account. You have 12% debentures account where you have date, particulars, amount. Okay. And also again, same date, particulars, amount. Okay. So first it is 12% debentures account. Okay. Now, same way, open all other accounts also, leave some space and keep opening all the accounts. Next is a DRR account. DRR account is required. Okay. And then you need your investments. Okay. DRR investments account. DRR investments account is required. Okay. Then what other accounts did he ask you for? Bank and debenture holders. Okay. Bank account. Okay. And debenture holders account. Clear? So these are the accounts what we have. Now, first of all, let us write all the opening balances he has mentioned. In debentures account, he says there is an opening balance right now. Okay. On 1st of April 2011, I'm taking it as 2011. Okay. By balance brought down. By balance brought down, it is 7,50,000. Okay. And in DRR account also, there is a balance on the same date, 1/4/2011. Okay. By balance brought down, you have 25,000 in your DRR account, and in your investment account also on 1/4/2011 to balance brought down, you have investment value of 1,12,500. Okay, 1,12,500. And he did not tell you anything about bank balance at all. So let us not bother about bank account. And debenture holders also, we will write entries only on closure. Okay. So these two we need not be bothered about. Let us start with debentures. Okay. Now, after you open, if you observe, as on 1st of April, you have 25,000 balance. Okay. 25,000 is the balance what we have. However, you are supposed to maintain DRR for 10%. Yes or no? 10% is the amount of DRR required. And when is this DRR required to be done? Before 31st of March, the previous year, before 31st of March of the year, in the next year, if debentures are going to be redeemed, in this year 31st March, by this 31st March, I am supposed to create DRR for 75,000 because 10% is 75,000. Yes or no? That means already I have 25,000 of balance. So I'll do a small working note here. Please see. Working note 1, DRR to be created. DRR to be created. Okay. DRR to be created. Date of redemption of debentures. Date of redemption of debentures, it is given as 31st of March next year. Yes or no? Date of redemption of debentures is mentioned as 31st of March 2012. Okay. Value of debentures, value of redemption. Value of redemption is 7,50,000. Okay. uh, 10% of 10% DRR to be created is on this 10% into 10%. Okay, 75,000 is what I should create. However, right now I have opening balance of DRR in the books available is equal to 25,000. Okay, so that means DRR to be created before 31st of March, before 31st of March this year. This year it is it is stated that it is 31st of March 2002. To be created. So take it as by 1st of April 2011 is going to be 75,000 minus 25,000. 50,000 is supposed to be created. Okay. So hence I'm going to create right away for this 50,000. Okay. So on the same date, on 1/4/2011, I'll create by P&L account. Don't bother about whether there is balance in P&L account or not. Not really relevant. I already told you the reason. Okay. So how much are you supposed to create? It is supposed to be 50,000, right? So, okay. So this is what you create and keep. You create and keep. Next, in investment account, if you observe, you have created how much? 1,12,000, 1,12,500 is what you have created. Okay. And he stated that oh, balance in the bank was 7,50,000 is what he has mentioned there. Okay. So let us take that bank balance what he has mentioned on 31st of December, 31st of March 2012. 31st of March 2012, I have a balance of two balance brought down of 7,50,000. Okay. And then you have received 10% interest on DRR investments. Yes or no? So take it to interest on DRR investment. DRR investments, it is going to be 10% of this value, this into 10%, which comes to 11,250. Okay, 11,250 is the amount of DRR interest which you have got. Now, this DRRs also, investment whatever you have created also, you are selling off by the end of the year, because by selling them only you are going to repay this money. Okay, so on the credit side he says it is sold for par value only. Okay, on 31st of March 2012, by bank it is 1,12,500. I have sold it off, and automatically this account became nil. This account became nil. Okay, so I have received on sale of investments to DRR investments account. It is 1,12,500 is what I have received. Okay, on receiving all this money, I have paid to debenture holders. How much did I pay? I paid my debenture holders at a premium of 10%. Okay, premium is 10%. So on 31st of March 2012, by debenture holders I am supposed to take. By debenture holders I am supposed to take. I am going to pay 8 lakh. So 7,50,000 plus 10%, 75,000. It becomes 8,25,000. Okay. On paying this, what I am going to be left with? What I am going to be left with is by balance carried down, it is going to be this minus this, which is 48,750. Okay. Now let us go to debentures account. Debentures account. We are supposed to transfer this debentures account to them. Yes or no? Debentures I am supposed to transfer to my debenture holders. So on 31st of March 2012, two debenture holders, I'm gonna transfer 7,50,000 fully. Okay. Apart from this, nothing is left. Okay. Apart from this, nothing is left in debentures account, 12% debentures account. Now, go back to your debenture holders account. Okay. Debenture holders account. On 31st of March 2012, you get debentures, 12% debentures value into your account, which is 7,50,000. Apart from that, there is a premium on redemption of debentures, which you are getting now. Okay. By premium on redemption of debentures, which is 75,000. Okay. And these two are being paid on 31st of March 2012 in the form of bank. Okay. To bank account. To bank account, it is 8,25,000. Automatically, this account is also closed. Okay. It is 8,25,000 and 8,25,000. So debenture holders account is closed, bank account is closed, debenture investment account is closed, and 12% debentures are closed. What is left is DRR account. Whatever is set aside in DRR account, now this is free reserve for you. You can transfer this to general reserve. You can transfer this to general reserve on payment of dues. Okay. So to general reserve, it is going to be 75,000. So with this, all your accounts are closed. I hope you guys understood. Okay. So this is how you are supposed to do with the amended. After the amendment, this is what you are supposed to do in your debentures account. Okay. So with this, let us go to next question also. Yeah. The summarized balance sheet of B Company Limited, unlisted company other than AIFI, banking company, NBFC and HFC, as on 31st March 2011 is as under: share capital authorized, issued, subscribed, paid up, profit and loss account, 12% debentures, trade payables total, assets, freehold property, stock, trade receivables, cash, bank balance total. Okay. At the annual general meeting, it was resolved to give existing shareholders the option to purchase one 10 rupees share at 15 for every 4 shares held prior to the bonus distribution. This option was taken up by all the shareholders to issue one bonus share for every 5 shares held, to repay debentures at a premium of 3%. Give necessary journal entries and the company's balance sheet after these transactions are completed. Okay. Now, first of all, you are a unlisted company and you are not an NBFC, you are not a HFC, and you are not, what is that other company? AIFI also. AIFI or banking company. Okay. So this is the clarity which he has given to you. Okay. If this is the clarity which is given to you, you are supposed to see how the transactions will be taking place. So you have a requirement to prepare, you're supposed to create DRR out of your P&L. You are supposed to create DRR for your P&L. Second, there is a requirement of investing this monies in DRRI. Okay. In DRRI, you are supposed to invest. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So 10% and 15% are supposed to be investments made. Okay. So for all this, let us write entries and close it off. Now, what is he asking? he is asking to write journal entries only. Okay. So write journal entries is what he is asking, and he is asking you to prepare the balance sheet afterwards also. Okay. So let us write journal entries one after the other for these transactions which has mentioned here. Okay. So journal entries in the books of B Company Limited. Okay. So date, particulars, and then LF, and then debit, credit. Okay. Okay. Now everything, assuming everything is to be done at the end of the year is what we will assume. Okay. So he did not tell you the dates on which it is going to be done. So we will consider everything to be done at the end only. Okay. So first entry is with respect to, he says, to give existing shareholders option to purchase 10 rupees share at 15 for every 4 shares held. Okay. This option was taken up by all the shareholders, what he's saying. Okay. So first of all, look at the balance sheet. My right now existing share capital is 20,000. 20,000 shares are what I have. That means 1 for every 4 shares indicates 5,000 shares will be issued by me. So entire shareholders have accepted for it. That is, I will be issuing 5,000 shares for 15 rupees each. Okay. 5,000 shares for 15 rupees each is what I'm going to issue. So 5,000 into 15 is going to be 75,000. Okay. 75,000. So write it as bank account debit. Bank account debit to share application money. Share application money. It is going to be, I'll use this narration part for calculation. 5,000 into 15. Okay. So it is 75,000 and 75,000. Okay. Then your equity shares are supposed to be issued out of equity share application money. Okay. Second entry is share application money account debit to share capital and to securities premium, because 10 rupees share is being given for 15. Okay. So it's going to be 75,000 and 50,000 and 25,000. Okay. So with this, your first part entries are over. Okay. Then he says bonus is issued after that. Bonus is issued after that. So what is bonus entry? Securities, you have, if you observe in the balance sheet, you have what all reserves do you have there? You have P&L account of 1,20,000. Apart from that, freshly created 25,000 of securities premium is what you have. Okay. So now what is he issuing as bonus? 1 share for every 5 shares held. Okay. 1 share for every 5 shares held. Right now, if you observe, the number of shares what I have is 25,000. 25,000. Out of 25,000, 1 for every 5 I'm going to give, which means 5,000 shares I have to give as bonus. 5,000 shares I'm supposed to give as bonus, and these 5,000 shares will be issued for what value? What value? 10 rupees is the face value. Okay. So for 10 rupees only, say I'm giving it out, which means I need 50,000. I need 50,000. I may use securities premium which I have created now to for this bonus, and balance I can use out of P&L, or I can consume completely out of P&L only. Either way, it is good only, but we will prefer always securities premium to utilize for bonus. Hence, we will go with okay. We'll go with using securities premium. Okay. So securities premium account debit, which is 25,000. P&L, yeah, P&L account debit 25,000 to equity share capital. Okay, you may write that detailed part called to bonus to equity shareholders. Again, bonus to equity shareholders and all. I'm directly issuing equity shares. Okay, to equity share capital. So that is share capital. To share capital, which is 50,000. Okay, so being bonus of 1:5 issued. Okay, so bonus is also done. Now he says DRR has to be created. He says to repay debentures at a premium of 3%. Okay, now did he tell you what is the amount of debentures you have? 1,20,000. Okay, 1,20,000 is the amount of debentures what you have. Did he tell you when you are supposed to redeem those debentures? He did not tell you. Okay, so he says you are supposed to create to repay the debentures at a premium of 3% is what he stated. Okay, so we will create a DRR for 10% of 1,20,000 face value. Okay, it becomes 12,000, and then that amount has to be invested. Investment has to be done not at 10% but at 15%. Investment is supposed to be done at 15%. Okay, so let us write that entries now. Okay, so P&L account debit to DRR I'm supposed to create for 12,000. Okay, so it is going to be for creation of DRR, okay, at 10% of book face value. Okay, I have created. Now after creating, what should I do? I should redeem them. So I should invest them. Yes or no? I will have to invest them. Investment is going to be DRR investment account debit. DRR investment account debit to bank. Okay, so what is the amount I am supposed to invest? It is 15% of 1,20,000. Okay, it is 15% of 1,20,000. Okay, so it is going to be 18,000 is what I am supposed to invest. Clear? So 18,000 is what I am going to invest, and then he says debentures are to be redeemed. No, if you are redeeming debentures, you are supposed to transfer the debenture liability along with premium on debentures to your debenture holders account. Okay, your debentures holders account. So entry would be 12% debentures account debit. Okay, it is 1,20,000. Premium on redemption of debentures account debit, which is 3,000. 3% is what he has stated. Okay, 1,20,000 into 3%. Please take this 3,600. Okay, to debenture holders. It's going to be total of these two, which is 1,23,600. 1,23,600. Okay, now fairly speaking, this premium on debentures, redemption of debentures, is a loss for you. Okay, so this has to be charged off to P&L. So transfer it to P&L. P&L account debit 3,600 to premium on redemption of debentures 3,600. Okay, and then once you transfer, now you can you are supposed to pay your debenture holders for which you need money, for which you will be selling away your debenture investments. Okay, so sell debenture investments. Before that I'll write narration, transfer of expense to P&L. Okay, so here what is the narration? Transfer of debentures and premium to holders. Okay. Now let us sell the debentures investments, because of which I'll be making money. Okay. So DRRI is going to be sold. Bank account is what I get. Bank account debit to DRRI is going to be sold. I get how much? He did not tell you anything. Let us assume that the same value what I've invested has come back to me. 18,000 is what I've got. Let us assume. Okay. So sale of DRRI. Yes. Okay. I sold DRRI. Now I've got money. By using this money, I'm going to pay off my debenture liability. Okay. So now debenture holders account debit. Account debit. What is the value? 1,23,600 to bank. Just 1,23,600. Okay. So debentures redeemed. Okay. Debentures redeemed. After this, you have created a DRR, no? That is no more required now. Now that can be transferred to general reserve. Okay. So DRR account debit to general reserve. General reserve. How much did you create DRR? You have created 10% of 1,20,000, which is 12,000 is what you have created. Okay. So that you are transferring to general reserve because the purpose is served. Okay. Okay. Transfer of DRR to general reserve. Okay. So these are the entries supposed to be passed. I'm sure you guys will be able to prepare balance sheet on your own after this. Okay. So we'll quickly finish off the balance sheet also. Now I'll prepare here itself. Please see. Yeah, T-shape we can prepare, but let it be exam style. Okay. So balance sheet of B Limited. Okay. So let us start with equity and liabilities. I'll write all shortcuts. You guys prepare on your own. Okay. Equity share capital. I'll directly take numbers, guys. I'll directly take numbers. So look at the question. How much you have got equity share capital? Equity share capital is 2 lakhs earlier. To the 2 lakhs, you have issued 50,000 of rights issue is given at 15 rupees. Apart from that, another 50,000 bonus is given. So that means it is 3 lakhs. 3 lakhs is equity share capital. Okay. Then you have reserves and surplus. Reserves and surplus. You have what all reserves do you have here? You have P&L account. Okay. P&L account, please see what all adjustments have happened. You initially had 1,20,000, of which you have transferred 12. You have transferred 12,000 to DRR. Okay, you have transferred to DRR 12,000. And you have utilized 25,000 towards issue of bonus. Okay, minus 25,000 of bonus and minus redemption of debentures 3,600 is there. Okay, 3,600 redemption has happened. All right. So is there anything else which has happened out of P&L? That's it, I believe. Okay, I'll take it on the P&L is this. Then you have got a general reserve. You have got a general reserve for how much now? 12,000 is the general reserve which got created. Okay, so the total comes to 91,400. Okay, so your reserves and surplus total is 91,400. Okay, then what else do you have? You have liabilities. You only have trade payables there. You only have trade payables. I'll directly take it. Trade payables is 1,15,000. That's all. Okay, so total comes to 5,06,400. 5,06,400. And then assets. Let's start. Assets, if you observe, you have tangible assets. Tangible assets, all the amounts put together, let us take. You have freehold property. Your freehold property, which is 1,15,000. Okay. Freehold property is 1,15,000. And then you have your stock is there. Okay. So freehold property, I can directly take stock. Then I have stock, which is 1,35,000. Does not change. Trade receivables does not change. Okay. 75,000. Cash, I'm assuming nothing changes because I'll make all adjustments only in bank. Okay. Bank, there is going to be full change. Let us take opening balance 2 lakhs. To this 2 lakhs, I've got multiple additions and deletions. Okay. I have got 75,000. I've got 75,000 on issue of shares. Okay. I have got 75,000 on issue of shares for 15 rupees. And then I have invested 18,000. So I have invested 18,000 minus 18,000 and then plus 18,000 because I have sold them off at the end of the year. Okay. I have invested and sold at the end of the year. Apart from that, I have redeemed. Apart from that, I have redeemed 1,23,600. Okay. So these are my transactions which have happened. I'm gonna take it here, which comes to, oh my God, something is wrong. Here I have not taken minus. So it is 1,51,400. So with this, the total comes to same 5,06,400. With this, your balance sheet got tallied. Okay, guys. I hope Yahoo balance sheet tallied. Okay. So with this, we are done with the second problem also. Predominantly, these are the kind of questions which may be asked in examination. Okay. Going forward. Now let's go ahead with the remaining questions which are given. With the remaining questions which are given. So please see the first question now. Yeah. Please see the first question. The summarized balance sheet of Entice Limited as on 31st March 2013 read as under: liabilities, equity share capital 4 lakh equity shares of 10 each fully paid up 40 lakhs, general reserve 50 lakhs, DRR 35 lakhs, 12% convertible debentures, 80,000 debentures of 100 each, other loans, current liabilities and provisions total. Assets, fixed assets, DRR investment account, cash and bank balance, other current assets total. Debentures are due for redemption on 1st of April 2013. The terms of issue of debentures provided that they are redeemable at a premium of 5% and also conferred option to debenture holders to convert 25% of their holding into equity shares at a predetermined price of 11.9 per share and the balance payment in cash. Assuming that except for debenture holders holding 12,000 debentures in aggregate, rest of them exercise the option for maximum conversion. The investments realized 32 lakhs on sale. All the transactions were taken place on 1st of April 2013 without any lag. Premium on redemption of debentures is to be adjusted against general reserve. Redraft the balance sheet of Entice Limited as on 1/4/2013 after giving in effect to the redemption. Show your calculations in respect of number of equity shares to be allotted and cash payment necessary. Okay. So this is a problem which was asked way before your amendment was made. It was asked in November 2013. Okay. However, we will try checking whether the conditions with respect to DRR and DRR investment are satisfied or not first. Okay. Now, if you see, the value of debentures outstanding is 80 lakhs, which means DRR should be created for 10%. How much is 10% out of 80 lakhs? 8 lakhs. However, he has created DRR for 35 lakhs, which means first condition got satisfied, assuming that this is a unlisted company, non-AIFI, banking, NBFC, and all that stuff. Okay. Second, with respect to debenture redemption reserve investments account, you are supposed to maintain at least for 12 lakhs. 12 lakhs should be invested, but here he has invested 30 lakhs. He has invested 30 lakhs. Hence, your investment also got satisfied. Okay. So you need not write any entries for your debenture redemption reserve or debenture redemption reserve investment account. Okay. So that's what I'm trying to convey here. With this info, let us start with writing entries for this part of redemption. Okay. So first thing, so we are supposed to calculate how many debentures are there and how many will be converted into equity. So all that part is supposed to be done. Okay. How many equity shares are to be issued and all that stuff. And then we will go ahead with calculating the cash paid. Okay. Yeah, fine. You also told me the same thing now. Okay, fine. I'm sorry. Yeah. Let us start with, I think it is debenture third problem and fourth problem. Okay. So first we are supposed to calculate how many debentures are supposed to be converted. Okay. And how many shares are to be issued is something which we need to know. Okay. Calculation of number of shares to be issued on conversion. Okay. Number of shares to be issued on conversion. Okay. Now, so total number of debentures you have is total number of debentures what you have is 80,000. What did he tell about the 80,000? He says